My hands won't stop shaking. I'm sitting in this tiny classroom chair meant for a 6-year-old, and Mrs. Henderson just slid a stack of drawings across the table toward me. Construction paper. Crayons. The kind of innocent art every parent sticks on their fridge. Except there's nothing innocent about these. Mr. Barrett, she says, and her voice sounds like it's coming from underwater. I need you to look carefully at what your daughter has been drawing. I pick up the first one. 2 stick figures in a bed. One has long yellow hair. The other is tall with dark scribbles for a beard. Above them in Indy's wobbly 6-year-old handwriting, Mommy and Uncle Mike. My throat closes up. There are more, Mrs. Henderson whispers. I flip through them. Each one worse than the last. Uncle Mike making pancakes. He's wearing what looks like boxer shorts. Mommy and Uncle Mike on the couch. They're under a blanket. Uncle Mike's car in our driveway. There's a moon and stars in the corner. Nighttime. Every single drawing is a knife in my chest. Indy has been asking some concerning questions during circle time, Mrs. Henderson continues. Her face is red. She's uncomfortable. About sleepovers. About why some grown-ups share beds when they're not married. Mr. Barrett, I wouldn't have called you here if I didn't think. When? My voice sounds dead. When does she see this? Mrs. Henderson folds her hands. She mentioned your night shifts. She said Uncle Mike stays over to keep Mommy company. Hi viewers, kindly tell us where you're watching from and what time it is. Warm welcome to the family, enjoy the story. The fluorescent lights buzz above us. Somewhere down the hall, kids are laughing at recess. My daughter is out there right now, playing on the swings, living in a world where she thinks what she's seeing at home is normal. Where she thinks her uncle sleeping in her mother's bed is just what families do. I met Marlo 9 years ago at a hospital charity run. She had this smile that made everything else disappear. We got married after 2 years. Had Indy a year later. I thought we were building something real. Something solid. My brother Mike moved to town last year after his divorce. I was the one who suggested it. Thought family should stick together. Thought Indy should know her uncle. I'm an ER nurse, 3, sometimes 4 night shifts a week, 12-hour stretches. Long hours. Hard work. But I loved coming home to them. Mike offered to help. Stay in the guest room for a while. Help with Indy. Keep Marlo company. Keep Marlo company. Those words taste like poison now. I look at the drawings again. There are 15 of them. 15 pieces of evidence that my wife and my brother have been destroying everything while I'm at work saving other people's lives. Mr. Barrett? Mrs. Henderson touches my arm gently. I'm required to ask, is Indy safe at home? She's safe from me, I say. My jaw is so tight it aches. I would never hurt my daughter. I didn't mean. I know what you meant. I stand up. The chair scrapes loud against the floor. Thank you for telling me. Can I take these? She hesitates then nods. I made copies for the file. I hope I'm wrong about what this looks like. But we both know she's not wrong. I walk out of that school with my daughter's drawings clutched in my fist. Parents are picking up their kids. They're smiling, chatting about playdates and soccer practice. Normal problems. Normal lives. Mine just ended. I sit in my truck in the parking lot. My phone buzzes. A text from Marlo. How'd the meeting go? Everything okay with Indy? Red heart. A heart emoji. My wife. The woman I've loved for 9 years. The mother of my child. She's asking if everything's okay while she's been sleeping with my brother in our bed. I stare at that heart emoji until my vision blurs. 3 months ago life was different. Life was good. Or at least I thought it was. Marlo and I had our routines. I'd work my nights at County Memorial, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, sometimes Saturday. She'd handle bedtime with Indy. I'd come home exhausted at 7 in the morning, and they'd both be at the breakfast table. Indy would run into my arms screaming, "Daddy," and Marlo would have coffee waiting. We weren't perfect. What marriages? But we were solid. 8 years together. We'd survived new parent exhaustion, financial stress, the usual stuff. I trusted her completely. The kind of trust where you don't even think about it because it's just air you breathe. Mike showed up last March. His divorce had wrecked him, or so he said. Lost his job in Seattle, needed a fresh start. I didn't hesitate. He's my little brother. 3 years younger, always been the charming one. The one everyone loved. I'd protected him our whole lives. From bullies in school, from our dad's temper, from his own bad decisions. Stay with us, I told him. Guest room's yours as long as you need. Marlo had smiled. It'll be nice having family around. Mike fit into our lives like he'd always been there. He'd pick up Indy from school when Marlo was running late. He'd grill burgers on Sundays. He'd watch baseball with me and argue about the Mariners like we were kids again. "You're a good brother," he told me once. We were in the garage changing the oil in Marlo's car. Letting me crash here. Not judging me for the divorce. "That's what family does," I said. I actually felt good about it. Proud even. Like I was being a good man. A good brother. Helping someone I loved get back on their feet. What a fool I was. The signs were there. I just didn't see them. Or I didn't want to see them. Marlo started wearing makeup on the days I worked nights. "Just trying to feel good about myself," she'd said when I mentioned it. I kissed her forehead and told her she was beautiful. She'd smiled at me and I'd believed that smile was real. Mike's temporary stay in the guest room stretched from weeks to months. "Just until I find a place," he kept saying. I never pushed. My own brother living under my roof. What kind of man charges his brother rent when he's struggling? The kind of man whose brother isn't sleeping with his wife. Indy adored Uncle Mike. He'd do voices for her stuffed animals, let her paint his nails, play tea party for hours. "You're so lucky to have family helping out," other parents would say at school pickup. I'd agreed with them. Now I'm thinking about all those nights I came home and found Mike's car still in the driveway at 7 in the morning. "Crashed on the couch watching movies," he'd say, yawning. "Your wife makes a mean pot of coffee." Your wife. Not Marlo. Your wife. Like she was a possession. Something that belonged to me that he was borrowing. I'm sitting at a red light 2 blocks from my house. The drawings are on the passenger seat. I could go home right now. Walk in. Confront them both. Watch them scramble for excuses. But something stops me. Rage is one thing. Rage makes you stupid. Makes you do things you can't take back. I need to be smart about this. For Indy. Everything I do from this moment forward has to protect my daughter. The light turns green. I don't go home. Instead, I drive to the bank. Then to a coffee shop where I sit in my truck and make a phone call I never thought I'd have to make. Vivian Cross, attorney at law. "Hi," I say. My voice cracks. "I need a divorce lawyer." Vivian Cross looks like someone who's seen every ugly thing people can do to each other and stopped being surprised years ago. She's maybe 50 with gray-streaked hair pulled back tight and eyes that miss nothing. Her office smells like leather and old books. Respectable. Expensive. The kind of place where marriages come to die with dignity. I spread Indy's drawings across her desk like crime scene photos. She studies each one without expression. Then she looks up at me. "How long has this been going on?" "I don't know." My hands are shaking again. "I just found out an hour ago." "And you haven't confronted them?" "No." "Good." She leans back in her chair. "Don't." "Not yet." For the next hour, Vivian walks me through what my life is about to become. Divorce proceedings. Asset division. Custody battles. Every sentence feels like she's explaining how to survive a war. "The drawings are compelling evidence of an inappropriate environment for your daughter," she says, making notes. "But we need more. I need you to document everything. Do you have access to phone records? We share a cell plan. Give me those records. Bank statements too. Credit cards. I want to know every dollar she spent." Vivian taps her pen against her notepad. "And the house, whose name is on the deed?" "Both of ours." "Furniture? Cars. Married in community property." She nods. "Your brother, does he pay rent?" "No." "Has he contributed anything to household expenses?" I think about it. Mike bought groceries sometimes. Filled the gas tank on Marlo's car once or twice. But rent? Utilities? Nothing. "He's been living there free for almost a year," I say. "Perfect. That makes the eviction easier." Vivian writes something down. "Here's what's going to happen. You're going to go home. You're going to act normal. You're going to work your shifts and kiss your wife goodbye and pretend everything is fine. I don't know if I can do that. You can because your daughter is watching." Her voice goes sharp. "Right now this is about custody. If you lose your temper, if you do anything that makes you look unstable, your wife's lawyer will use it. They'll paint you as volatile. Aggressive. They'll say you're the reason the marriage failed because you were never home." The words hit like a slap. I was working. Providing for my family. "I know that. You know that. But a good lawyer can spin anything." Vivian's face softens just slightly. "I've been doing this for 23 years. I've seen men lose their children because they made one mistake in anger. Don't be one of them." I close my eyes. Breathe. When I open them, Vivian is sliding a card across the desk. "This is a private investigator. Discreet. Thorough. He can get us documentation that will hold up in court. You want me to spy on my own wife? I want you to protect your daughter. She folds her hands. Your marriage is already over. What we're doing now is making sure you don't lose everything else. That night I go home. Mike's car is in the driveway. Of course it is. I walk in and they're in the kitchen. Marlo is cutting vegetables. Mike is leaning against the counter with a beer, laughing at something on his phone. They look up when I enter and both of them smile. Hey babe. Marlo comes over and kisses my cheek. She smells like the perfume I bought her for Christmas. How was the meeting? Mrs. Henderson said Indy's been a little distracted lately. I look at her face. This woman I've loved. This woman I've trusted with everything. It was fine, I hear myself say. Just normal 6-year-old stuff. Nothing to worry about. The lie tastes like ash. Mike raises his beer. Want one, bro? Rough day at work. Bro. My little brother, standing in my kitchen, drinking my beer, sleeping with my wife, calling me bro. Nah, I say. I'm good. Where's Indy? Watching cartoons, Marlo says. She goes back to her vegetables. Dinner in 20? Perfect. I walk down the hall to the living room. Indy is sprawled on the couch with her stuffed rabbit, completely absorbed in some show about talking dogs. When she sees me, her whole face lights up. Daddy. She launches herself at me and I catch her. She's solid and warm and real. This little person who drew those pictures because she thought what she was seeing was normal. Because the two people who should have protected her innocence decided their own selfish desires mattered more. Hey, pumpkin. I hold her tight. Did you have a good day at school? We did art and I made a rainbow and Mrs. Henderson said it was beautiful. A rainbow. Not her mother and uncle in bed together. That's amazing, I whisper into her hair. I'm so proud of you. Over her shoulder, through the doorway, I can see Marlo and Mike in the kitchen. They're standing close. Too close. Mike says something low and Marlo laughs. Her hand touches his arm for just a second. Right there. In front of our daughter. In our home. I pull Indy closer and make her a silent promise. I will burn down everything to keep you safe. The private investigator's name is Chen. First name or last name I don't know. He's quiet, maybe 40, with the kind of face you'd forget 5 minutes after meeting him. Perfect for his job. We meet at a diner 40 minutes from my house where nobody knows me. Your attorney filled me in, Chen says, stirring sugar into his coffee. Spouse and brother-in-law. You want documentation. Everything, I say. I want to know exactly what they're doing. Chen nods. I'll need photos of both of them. Access to the house layout. Your work schedule. I slide him a folder I prepared. Photos of Marlo and Mike from social media. A rough sketch of our house. My shift schedule for the next month. There's a guest room, I point to the sketch. That's supposedly where my brother sleeps. Master bedroom is here. Do you have any security cameras? No. You should install one. Chin takes a long sip of coffee. In your own bedroom. For your protection. Is that legal? In this state, if you own the property and provide notice to anyone staying there, yes. The notice doesn't have to specify where the camera is, just that surveillance may be used. My stomach turns. I have to watch them? You don't have to watch anything. The footage just needs to exist. His voice is flat, professional. If your wife and her affair partner are using your bedroom, that's evidence of alienation of affection and marital misconduct. If your brother is living there rent-free while conducting an affair with your wife, that's relevant to eviction proceedings. Everything about this conversation feels wrong. Dirty. Like I'm the one doing something shameful. But then I think about Indy's drawings. How long will it take? I ask. Depends on what you want. Basic surveillance, I can have preliminary reports in a week. Full documentation with photos, witness interviews if needed, bank records. That's 2, maybe 3 weeks. Do it all. Chin pulls out a contract. The retainer is $5,000. I think about our savings account. Money Marlo and I built together for Indy's college fund. For vacations we planned to take. For the future we thought we had. I sign the contract. That night, I install a small camera in the bedroom. It's disguised as a phone charger, sits on the dresser, completely invisible unless you're looking for it. I draft a simple notice. Please be advised that security cameras may be used throughout this property for safety purposes. And post copies on the fridge, the guest room door, and the bathroom mirror. Marlo sees the one on the fridge when she gets her morning coffee. What's this about? She asks. I'm feeding Indy breakfast, keeping my voice light. There have been some break-ins in the neighborhood. Just being cautious. It's not even a lie. There was a break in 3 streets over last month. Marlo frowns but doesn't push it. Mike walks in, sees the notice, barely glances at it. Makes sense, he says. Can't be too careful. The audacity is breathtaking. For the next 2 weeks, I live in a nightmare disguised as normal life. I go to work, come home, have dinner with my family, help Indy with her homework, kiss my wife goodnight. And every time I'm at work, I know what's happening. Chin sends me updates. Photos of Mike's car in the driveway at midnight. 2 a.m. 5 in the morning. Time stamped. Dated. Undeniable. The bank records come next. Marlo has been withdrawing cash regularly. 200 here. 300 there. I pull the credit card statements. Hotels. Nice restaurants. All on days I work night shifts. My own money paying for their affair. There are text messages too. Chin has a contact at the phone company who can retrieve deleted messages. I read them in my truck during my lunch break, sitting in the hospital parking lot while ambulances scream past. Marlo to Mike, he's working tonight. Come over after 9. Mike to Marlo, can't wait to have you to myself. Marlo to Mike, do you think he knows? Mike to Marlo, your husband is clueless. Trust me. I throw up in the parking lot. A nurse I work with, Stephanie, sees me and rushes over. Garrett, are you okay? Are you sick? I'm fine, I lie. Just something I ate. But I'm not fine. I'm watching my life crumble in real time and I can't tell anyone. Can't break down. Can't fall apart. Because Indy needs me to be strong. The worst part comes on a Thursday night. I'm supposed to work, but there's a staffing surplus and they send me home early. It's 11 p.m. when I pull into my driveway. Mike's car is there. The lights are on in the master bedroom. My bedroom. I sit in my truck with my hands on the steering wheel. I could go in right now. Kick the door down. Catch them in the act. But Vivian's voice is in my head. Don't be the one who looks unstable. So I sit there. I sit in my truck in my own driveway at my own house, and I watch the shadows move behind the bedroom curtains. After 20 minutes, I drive away. I park at a gas station and call Chin. I need the footage, I say. All of it. Now. I'll have it to your attorney by tomorrow morning. I don't sleep that night. I sit in my truck until sunrise, then go to the hospital and pretend to work a shift I don't actually have scheduled. Anything to not go home. When I finally walk in at 7 a.m., Mike is in the kitchen making coffee. He's wearing a t-shirt and sweatpants. Bare feet. Comfortable. At home. Morning, he says casually. Rough shift. I look at this man. My brother. The person I protected my whole life. The person I invited into my home. Yeah, I say. Really rough. But it's about to get rougher for him. Vivian calls me on a Tuesday afternoon. I'm at the hospital between patients, exhausted from another sleepless night. We have everything, she says. It's worse than I thought. Worse. As if it could get worse. I meet her at her office after my shift. She has the footage queued up on her laptop, but she doesn't play it immediately. Before you watch this, I need to warn you. Just show me. She clicks play. The bedroom. My bedroom. Night vision footage makes everything gray and ghostly. 2 figures in the bed. My wife and my brother. In my bed. In my home. While I'm at work. Vivian fast forwards through multiple nights. It's not just once or twice. It's systematic. Routine. Every single night I work, this happens. There's more, Vivian says quietly. The audio pickup is clear. She plays a section with sound. I hear Marlo's voice. What if Garrett finds out? Mike's voice, so casual it makes my blood boil. He won't. Your husband is too trusting. Too stupid. He actually thinks I moved here because of my divorce. They laugh. They're laughing about me. Marlo says something else, softer. I do feel bad sometimes. He's a good father. But a lousy husband, Mike responds. Always at work. When's the last time he took you anywhere? When's the last time he really saw you? You see me, Marlo whispers. I reach over and stop the video. My hands are shaking so badly I almost knock the laptop off the desk. There's 6 hours of footage like this, Vivian says. More than enough for court. But Garrett, there's something else you need to know. I look at her. What else could there possibly be? She pulls out a bank statement. Your wife opened a separate account 4 months ago. She's been moving money into it. Small amounts, nothing you'd notice. But it adds up to almost $30,000. $30,000. Our savings. Money we put aside for emergencies, for Indy's future. She's planning to leave you, Vivian continues. Or she was preparing for you to find out. Either way, she's been getting ready. The betrayal has layers. It's not just the affair. It's the premeditation. The calculation. While I was working night shifts to provide for our family, Marlo was systematically planning our destruction. What about Mike? I ask. My voice sounds hollow. Employment records show he's been working part-time at a gym. Makes decent money. He could afford his own place. He's been staying with you by choice, not necessity. Of course he has. The divorce itself is straightforward, Vivian says. Infidelity, abandonment of marital duties, misuse of marital assets. We'll get you primary custody, probably supervised visitation for her until she demonstrates stability. Child support. Division of assets weighted in your favor given her misconduct. What about Mike? He's not married to you, so no legal action there. But the eviction is simple. He has no lease, pays no rent, he's a guest who's overstayed his welcome. You give him written notice, 48 hours in this state, and he's out. I think about Indy. About her drawings. About how she's been living in this toxic environment, absorbing it all, thinking it's normal. I want to do it now, I say. The eviction? Everything. The confrontation. The eviction. All of it. Vivian studies my face. Are you sure? Once you do this, there's no going back. There's already no going back. I stand up. This ends now. She nods. Okay. Then we do it right. I'll prepare the divorce papers for immediate filing. Eviction notice for your brother. You pick the time and place for the confrontation. I recommend somewhere your daughter isn't present. A plan forms in my mind. Cold. Clean. Devastating. Mike's birthday is this Friday, I say. Marlo is planning a dinner. Just the four of us. Family dinner. Vivian almost smiles. It's not a pleasant smile. Fitting. The next few days are the longest of my life. I maintain the act. Go to work. Come home. Help Indy with her spelling words. Pretend everything is fine. Marlo is planning Mike's birthday dinner with enthusiasm that would be touching if it wasn't so sickening. She buys a cake. Makes his favorite meal, lasagna. Sets the table with our nice dishes. For her affair partner. My brother. Friday arrives. I tell them I'm working until 6 but will rush home for dinner. Instead, I leave work at 4 and go to Vivian's office. She hands me a folder containing everything. Divorce papers, eviction notice, printed photos from the surveillance footage, bank statements, text message transcripts. You don't have to show them all of this, she says. Sometimes just knowing you have it is enough. I want them to see everything, I say. I want them to understand exactly how completely they've destroyed this. At 6:15 I pull into my driveway. Mike's car is there, of course. I sit for a moment, the folder on my passenger seat. This is it. The moment everything changes. I think about Indy inside, probably excited about cake and birthday candles. I think about how I'm about to shatter whatever illusion of family she still has. But then I remember her drawings. Remember how she's been damaged by what she's witnessed. Remember that protecting her is more important than preserving her innocence, because her innocence is already broken. I grab the folder and walk inside. They're all at the dining room table. Marlo, Mike, and Indy. There's a chair empty for me. The birthday cake is on the counter, chocolate with blue frosting. Mike's favorite. Daddy. Indy jumps up and hugs me. You made it. We're having Uncle Mike's birthday. I know, sweetheart. I kiss the top of her head. Then I look at Marlo and Mike. They're both smiling. Relaxed. Happy. That's about to change. Before we eat, I say calmly, sitting down in my chair, I have a gift for Mike. I slide the folder across the table toward him. Mike opens the folder like it's a birthday card. His smile freezes when he sees the first photo. It's him and Marlo, time-stamped, dated, crystal clear. In my bed. The color drains from his face. Marlo leans over to look. I watch her expression shift from confusion to horror in 3 seconds flat. Her hand flies to her mouth. Indy, baby, I say, keeping my voice steady. Go to your room, please. Take your tablet. Daddy needs to talk to the grown-ups. But the cake. We'll do cake later, I promise. I kiss her forehead. Go on, pumpkin. She looks between all of us, sensing something wrong but not understanding what. Finally, she slides off her chair and disappears down the hallway. I wait until I hear her bedroom door close. Then I turn back to them. So, I say conversationally like we're discussing the weather. How long has this been going on? Marlo starts crying immediately. Big dramatic tears. Garrett, I can explain. Don't. My voice cuts like glass. Don't you dare insult me with explanations. Mike is flipping through the folder now. Photos. Bank statements. Text messages. His own words staring back at him. Your husband is clueless. Trust me. You bugged the house? Mike's voice rises. That's illegal. You can't. I posted notices. I interrupt. Legal requirement met. Every corner of this house has a notice stating surveillance may be in use. You saw them. You ignored them. That's on you. I pull out another document from my jacket pocket. This is an eviction notice. You have 48 hours to remove yourself and all your belongings from my property. If you're not gone by Sunday at 6 p.m., the sheriff will escort you out. Mike stands up, his chair scraping loud against the floor. You can't kick me out. I'm your brother. No. I stand too, and my voice drops to something cold and final. You were my brother. Now you're just the man who's been sleeping with my wife in my bed while I was at work saving people's lives. Garrett, please. Marlo reaches for my arm. I step back like her touch burns. Don't touch me. Don't speak to me unless it's through my lawyer. I throw another set of papers on the table. Divorce petition. Citing adultery, misuse of marital funds, and creating an inappropriate environment for our daughter. I'm filing for primary custody. You'll get supervised visitation after you complete court-mandated therapy. You're taking my daughter? Marlo's voice breaks. You can't do that. I can and I will. I point to the drawings which are also in the folder. Our 6-year-old has been drawing pictures of you two in bed together. The school psychologist is concerned about her exposure to adult situations. A judge will see these, Marlo. A judge will see what you've done to our child. The room goes silent except for Marlo sobbing. Mike tries a different approach. His voice goes soft, pleading. Man, listen. I know this looks bad, but you have to understand. Marlo was lonely. You're never here. She needed someone. So you thought you'd volunteer? The rage I've been controlling for weeks threatens to break through. You blamed me for your convenience. I was never home because I was working 70-hour weeks to support my family. To support you. You've been living here rent-free for almost a year, eating my food, using my electricity, sleeping in my guest room. I pause. Or wait, no. You weren't sleeping in the guest room, were you? Mike has nothing to say to that. And you? I turn to Marlo. You stood in front of our friends and family and promised to love me in sickness and health. You said vows. You wore my ring. You carried my child. My voice cracks despite my best efforts. I trusted you with everything. And you threw it away for what? Excitement? Attention? It just happened, Marlo whispers. We didn't mean for it to. Nothing just happens. I slam my hand on the table and they both flinch. You made choices. Every single time I left for work, you made a choice. Every text message. Every lie. Every time you looked me in the eye and pretended everything was fine. Those were choices. I grab my keys off the counter. Mike, you have 48 hours. Marlo, my attorney's information is in the folder. You'll be hearing from her. Where are you going? Marlo stands up, mascara running down her face. I'm taking my daughter and we're staying somewhere else tonight. Somewhere she doesn't have to be around this poison. I head toward Indy's room, then stop and turn back. Oh, and Mike? Happy birthday. Hope it was worth it. His face is white, his hands shaking. Good. I want him to hurt the way I'm hurting. I pack a bag for Indy while she asks questions I can't answer yet. Why are we leaving? Where are we going? Is Mommy coming? It's an adventure, I tell her, forcing a smile. Just you and Daddy tonight. As we walk to the truck, I can see Marlo through the kitchen window. She's collapsed at the table, still crying. Mike is standing with his hands in his hair, staring at the folder like it's a bomb that's already detonated. Their problem now. I buckle Indy into her car seat. She's clutching her stuffed rabbit, confused but trusting me. Daddy, are you mad at Mommy and Uncle Mike? The question nearly breaks me. We stay at a hotel that night. Nothing fancy, just a holiday and off the highway. Indy thinks it's exciting. There's a pool and vending machines and HBO. I let her stay up late watching cartoons while I sit on the edge of the bed staring at my phone. 17 missed calls from Marlo. 8 from Mike. Texts pouring in. Marlo, please come home. We need to talk about this. Marlo, you're overreacting. It's not what you think. Marlo, you can't just take Indy away from me. Mike, bro, I'm sorry. Let's talk this through. Mike, you're throwing away our family over a mistake. I delete every message without responding. Around midnight my phone rings. It's my mother. Of course Mike called her. Of course he's playing victim. Garrett, honey, Mom says when I answer. Mike told me what happened. I think you need to calm down and think about this rationally. The words hit like ice water. Rationally? Marriages have problems. People make mistakes. Your father and I went through a rough patch in our 30s. Did Dad sleep with Uncle Robert? The bitterness in my voice surprises even me. That's not the same thing. It's exactly the same thing. Mike betrayed me in the worst possible way, and you're telling me to calm down? Mom sighs like I'm being difficult. Mike is your brother. He's family. You can't just cut him out of your life over this. Watch me. And what about Marlo? That little girl needs her mother. That little girl has been drawing pictures of her mother in bed with her uncle. My voice goes flat. Indy's teacher pulled me aside because she's been asking inappropriate questions. Your granddaughter has been traumatized and you're worried about Mike's feelings. Silence on the other end. Mom, I love you. But if you can't support me on this, I don't want to hear from you right now. I hang up before she can respond. Indy is asleep by 1 a.m., curled around her rabbit. I stand by the window looking out at the empty parking lot. Somewhere out there, my life is imploding. My marriage is over. My brother is dead to me. Even my own mother is taking their side. But Indy is safe. That's all that matters. The next morning I call out sick from work. Then I call a real estate agent. I need a 2-bedroom apartment, I tell her. Clean, safe neighborhood, good schools. Move-in ready. Budget isn't an issue. By noon, I've signed a lease on a place 3 miles from Indy's school. It's small but bright, with a park across the street. There's a bedroom for me and a bedroom for Indy. Space for us to start over. I buy furniture that afternoon. Nothing from the house. All new. A bed for Indy with a purple comforter she picks out herself. A couch. A kitchen table. The basics. Are we living here now? Indy asks, exploring her new room. Yeah, baby. This is our new home. What about Mommy? I kneel down to her level. This conversation has been coming and I can't avoid it anymore. Mommy is going to live at the old house, I say carefully. And you're going to live here with Daddy. But you'll still see Mommy. Just not every day. Why not? How do you explain betrayal to a 6-year-old? How do you tell your daughter that her mother chose selfishness over family? Sometimes grown-ups can't live together anymore, I say. It doesn't mean we don't love you. We both love you so much. But Mommy and Daddy are going to live in different houses now. Like Emma's parents? Indy asks. Emma is a girl in her class whose parents are divorced. Yeah, like Emma's parents. Indy thinks about this. What about Uncle Mike? My jaw tightens. Uncle Mike is going to live somewhere else too. But I like Uncle Mike. Of course she does. That's what makes this so cruel. Mike made himself important to her, made her love him, all while destroying her family from the inside. I know you do, sweetie. But Uncle Mike made some bad choices and he can't be around us anymore. What kind of bad choices? Grown-up stuff, I say, pulling her into a hug. You don't need to worry about it. All you need to know is that Daddy is always going to take care of you. Always. She hugs me back and I feel her little body relax against mine. She trusts me. That trust is everything. Sunday evening, I get a text from Vivian. Your brother's belongings are on the curb. Lock's changed. He's officially out. Good. Monday morning, Marlo's lawyer calls. His name is Richard something and he sounds expensive. Mr. Barrett, I represent your wife in the dissolution proceedings. I'd like to discuss custody arrangements. Talk to my lawyer, I interrupt. I'm not discussing anything directly with you. Mr. Barrett, I think if we could just have a conversation. My daughter has been exposed to her mother's affair for months. She's been drawing disturbing pictures. Her school is concerned. I have documentation of everything. I keep my voice level. Your client created an environment that was harmful to our child. I'm not negotiating custody. This is going to court. Richard makes some noise about being reasonable, but I end the call. Marlo tries to see Indy at school pickup that Wednesday. I've already alerted the school. Only I'm allowed to pick up Indy until the custody hearing. When Marlo shows up anyway, security escorts her off the property. She texts me afterwards, "You're being cruel." She's my daughter too. I don't respond. Cruelty is sleeping with someone's brother. Cruelty is lying every single day. Cruelty is letting your child witness your affair and thinking it's normal. Protecting my daughter isn't cruelty. It's justice. Thursday night I get a call from Mike. I almost don't answer, but curiosity wins. What do you want? I answer. I'm moving to Arizona, he says. His voice sounds hollow. Got a job there. I'll be gone by next week. Good. Garrett, man, I know I messed up. You didn't mess up. My grip tightens on the phone. Messing up is forgetting to take out the trash. What you did was calculated betrayal. You moved into my house, ate my food, played with my daughter, and destroyed my family. On purpose. I never meant to hurt you. Yes, you did. You knew exactly what you were doing and you did it anyway. I take a breath. We're not brothers anymore, Mike. Don't call me again. I hang up and block his number. The custody hearing is scheduled for 3 weeks out. Vivian prepares me for what's coming. Marlo's lawyer will try to paint me as vindictive, as using Indy as a weapon. They'll say I'm alienating her from her mother. Let them say it, I tell Vivian. We have the evidence. But that night, alone in the apartment after Indy falls asleep, I break down for the first time. I sit on the floor of my bedroom and cry like I haven't cried since I was a child. Everything hurts. The breaking point comes on a random Tuesday morning. I'm making Indy breakfast, chocolate chip pancakes, her favorite, and she's telling me about something funny that happened at recess. She's laughing and her face is bright, and for just a second everything feels normal. Then she says, I miss Mommy. The spatula freezes in my hand. I know you do, baby, I manage to say. Why can't she come here? Why can't we all live together again? I turn off the stove and sit down at the table with her. This conversation has been coming for days and I've been dreading it. Remember how we talked about how grown-ups sometimes can't live together? I say gently. That's what happened with Mommy and Daddy. But you're going to see her soon. The judge is going to make a schedule so you can spend time with both of us. I don't want a schedule, Indy says, and her bottom lip starts to tremble. I want everything to be like it was before. When she was drawing pictures of her mother's affair without understanding what she was seeing. When she thought Uncle and Mommy having sleepovers was normal family behavior. I know, Pumpkin. But sometimes things change and we have to be brave and adapt to the new way things are. Did I do something wrong? She asks, and the question destroys me. I pull her into my lap immediately. No, baby, you didn't do anything wrong. This is not your fault. Not even a little bit. Sometimes grown-ups make bad choices, and those choices affect everyone around them. But you, sweet girl, you are perfect. She's crying now and so am I. That afternoon, I make a call I've been putting off. Dr. Keisha Womack comes, highly recommended. She specializes in helping children process trauma and family transitions. I can see her this Friday, Dr. Womack says when I explain the situation. And I'd like to meet with you first, without your daughter present, so I understand the full context. Friday comes. I sit in Dr. Womack's office. It's painted in soft colors, has toys scattered around, looks nothing like a typical therapist's office, and tell her everything. She listens without judgment, taking notes occasionally. Your daughter is processing a significant loss, Dr. Womack says when I'm finished. Not just the loss of her family structure, but the loss of her uncle, who she trusted and loved. She's also dealing with the confusion of knowing something was wrong without having the language or understanding to articulate what she witnessed. How do I help her? My voice cracks. You're already doing the most important thing. You're keeping her safe and giving her stability. Now we build on that. Dr. Womack leans forward. Children are incredibly resilient, Mr. Barrett. With the right support, Indy will not only survive this, she'll thrive. But she needs consistency, she needs honesty at an age-appropriate level, and she needs to know that she's loved unconditionally by both parents, even if those parents aren't together. Over the next few weeks, Indy starts seeing Dr. Womack twice a week. I watch my daughter slowly start to heal. She plays with dolls in therapy, acts out scenarios, asks questions in the safe space Dr. Womack provides. At home I make changes. I switch from night shifts to day shifts at the hospital. It's a pay cut, less differential, less overtime, but it means I'm home every evening. I become room parent for Indy's class. I'm at every school event, every parent meeting, every opportunity to show up. Mrs. Henderson pulls me aside one day after school. I just want you to know Indy is doing so much better. Whatever you're doing, keep doing it. I'm just being her dad, I say. You're being a great dad, she corrects. The transformation isn't instant, but it's there. Indy's drawings change. Less chaos, less confusion. More flowers and rainbows and pictures of her and me at the park. I join a support group for divorced parents. It's held Thursday nights at a church community center, and it's a room full of people whose lives got shattered just like mine. There's Marcus, whose wife left him for a coworker. Jessica, whose husband drained their accounts and fled to Mexico. Brian, whose partner of 15 years came out as gay and moved across the country. Different stories, same pain. How do you stop being angry? I asked the group one night. How do you forgive people who don't deserve forgiveness? Brian, who's been in the group for 3 years, speaks up. You don't forgive them for their benefit. You forgive them for yours. Carrying that anger around is like drinking poison and expecting them to die. They've already moved on with their lives. Don't give them the power to keep hurting you. It's not easy advice to follow. Some nights I lie awake and the rage comes back hot and overwhelming. I think about Mike in Arizona, probably telling people his version where he's the victim. I think about Marlo, who's dating again according to mutual friends. Some guy she met at a wine bar. Moving on like she didn't destroy a family. But then I look at Indy and I remember what matters. 6 months pass. The custody hearing finally arrives. Marlo shows up with Richard, her expensive lawyer. She's dressed conservatively, hair pulled back, minimal makeup. Playing the part of the concerned mother. I'm there with Vivian and a folder full of documentation that tells the real story. The judge is a woman in her 60s named Patricia Holbrook. She's known for being fair but tough. Richard goes first, painting a picture of a loving mother who made a mistake, who's completed therapy, who's desperate to have meaningful time with her daughter. Mr. Barrett has been alienating the child from her mother, Richard argues. He's using this situation to punish his ex-wife rather than focusing on what's best for the child. Then it's Vivian's turn. She presents the drawings. The therapy reports from Dr. Womack documenting Indy's confusion and distress. The timeline showing how long the affair continued. The evidence of the inappropriate environment Marlo created. This isn't about punishment, Your Honor, Vivian says. This is about protecting a child who was exposed to adult situations she wasn't equipped to process. Mr. Barrett has been the stable parent throughout this process. He's changed his work schedule to be present. He's gotten his daughter into therapy. He's done everything right. Judge Holbrook asks to speak to Indy privately. It's not required, but she wants to hear from the child herself. They're gone for 20 minutes. When they come back, Judge Holbrook's face is unreadable. I've reviewed all the evidence and testimony, she says. While I believe Ms. Barrett loves her daughter, I'm concerned about the judgment she displayed and the environment she created. Therefore, I'm awarding primary physical custody to Mr. Barrett. Marlo gasps. Ms. Barrett will have supervised visitation every other weekend, to be reassessed in 6 months pending completion of continued therapy and demonstration of stable decision-making. She will also pay child support based on her income. The gavel comes down. I won. But it doesn't feel like winning. It feels like everyone lost except maybe Indy, who gets to grow up in a stable home now. As we leave the courthouse, Marlo tries to approach me. Garrett, please. Talk to your lawyer, I say without stopping. That's what we have them for. Indy starts spending every other weekend with Marlo under supervision. A court-appointed monitor sits in the living room while they have their visits. Indy comes back from these weekends quiet, confused about why there's a stranger watching them. Is Mommy in trouble? She asks me. Mommy made some grown-up mistakes, I tell her. The monitor is just there to make sure you're safe and happy during your visits. It won't be forever. Time continues to pass. Seasons change. Indy turns 7, then 8. The supervised visits eventually transition to unsupervised as Marlo proves she's stable. She moves to a small apartment, gets a job at a marketing firm, seems to be trying. But will never be a family again. That door is closed and locked forever. 2 years after the divorce is finalized, something unexpected happens. The letter arrives on a Thursday in October. Plain white envelope, no return address, postmarked from Phoenix, Arizona. I know who it's from before I open it. Inside, 5 pages in Mike's handwriting. I almost throw it away unread, but something stops me. Morbid curiosity maybe. Or just the need to see if he's learned anything. Garrett, it starts. I know you don't want to hear from me. I know you probably hate me. You have every right to. What I did was unforgivable, and I've spent the last 2 years trying to understand why I did it. I skimmed through paragraphs of excuses. He was depressed after his divorce. He felt worthless. Marlo gave him attention that made him feel valuable again. It started innocently. They didn't mean for it to happen. The same tired justifications. But then near the end, I've been in therapy. Real therapy, not just the court-mandated stuff. My therapist helped me understand that what I did to you wasn't just about Marlo. It was about competition. You were always the good one, the responsible one, the one everyone praised. I was the screw-up. And on some sick level, taking something of yours made me feel like I'd finally won something. I stopped reading there. So that's what I was to him. A competition. My marriage, my family, my life, all just prizes in some game I didn't know we were playing. The letter goes on. Mike is sober now. He's engaged to someone new. He's working on himself. He's sorry. He knows sorry isn't enough, but he needed me to know he's trying to be better. I don't expect forgiveness, the letter concludes. I don't deserve it. But I hope someday you can find peace with what happened. You were a good brother to me. I wish I'd been half the brother you deserved. I fold the letter carefully, then drop it in the kitchen trash. Maybe Mike is better now. Maybe he's genuinely remorseful. Maybe his therapy worked and he's become a decent person. But that's not my problem anymore. He made his choices. I made mine. We're not brothers. We're strangers who share DNA and a history of betrayal. Some things can't be fixed. Some people can't be forgiven. Not because they don't deserve a second chance, but because giving them one would mean reopening wounds that finally healed. That evening, Indy comes home from school buzzing with excitement. She's 8 now, in 3rd grade, confident and bright. The scared, confused 6-year-old from those drawings is gone. In her place is a resilient kid who knows she's loved. Dad, guess what? We're doing a project about families, and I told Mrs. Chen that I have 2 houses, and she said that's perfectly normal and lots of kids have 2 houses. That's right, pumpkin, I say, helping her with her backpack. There are all kinds of families. Emma has 2 houses too. And Max lives with his grandparents. And Sophie has 2 moms. She rattles off her classmates' various family structures without judgment, just facts. Mrs. Chin says families are about who loves you, not who lives in your house. Mrs. Chin sounds like a smart woman. Do you feel loved, Indy? I ask. She looks at me like it's the silliest question in the world. Of course, Daddy. You love me. Mommy loves me. Grandma and Grandpa love me. I have so much love. She skips off to her room to start her homework, and I stand in the kitchen fighting back tears. She's okay. Despite everything, despite the divorce and the betrayal and the upheaval, my daughter is okay. That night, after Indy is asleep, I find myself thinking about forgiveness. Not forgiving Marlo or Mike. That ship has sailed, but forgiving myself. For not seeing the signs sooner. For working so many night shifts. For trusting too easily. For bringing Mike into our lives in the first place. I've carried that guilt for 2 years, and maybe Brian from the support group was right. Maybe it's time to let it go. I didn't cause the affair. I didn't make Marlo and Mike betray me. Their choices were their own, driven by their own selfishness and brokenness. All I did was work hard and love my family and try to be a good man. That's not a crime. That's not a failure. 6 months later, I meet someone. Her name is Rachel. She's a pediatric nurse at the hospital, and she's recently divorced herself. We grab coffee after a shift, and it's easy, comfortable. No drama, no games, just 2 people who've been through hell and came out the other side. I take things slow. So slow that Rachel jokes about it. You know, we can actually have a second date without checking with your lawyer first, right? She teases. I have a daughter, I explain. I can't bring people in and out of her life. If this is going somewhere, it has to be real. Rachel gets serious. I respect that. And I'm not in a hurry. I've got my own baggage to work through. We date for 8 months before I introduce her to Indy. And when I do, it's casual, a trip to the zoo, just 3 people spending time together. Indy likes her. Rachel likes Indy. It's not a replacement family. It's just new people choosing to care about each other. Life continues. Marlo and I develop a civil co-parenting relationship. We'll never be friends, but we can text about Indy's homework and schedule without it turning into a war. She's engaged now to the wine bar guy, Derek. He seems okay from what Indy tells me. Treats her well. Doesn't try to play dad. I don't wish Marlo ill. I don't wish her well either. I just wish her distant. My parents eventually came around, though it took time. My mother apologized about a year after everything happened, admitted she was wrong to defend Mike. I wanted to keep the family together, she said. I didn't understand how much damage he'd caused. I accepted her apology, but things aren't the same between us. That's okay. Some relationships change permanently, and you have to accept it. The support group becomes a fixture in my life. I eventually become a co-facilitator, helping newer members navigate the early stages of divorce and betrayal. Does it get better? They always ask. Yes, I tell them. Not the way you think it will. Not the way you hope. But it gets different, and different becomes better. 3 years after that teacher's meeting that changed everything, I'm standing in my apartment kitchen on a Saturday morning. Indy is at the table doing her homework. Rachel is making pancakes. The radio is playing something cheerful. It's ordinary. It's peaceful. It's everything that nightmare period wasn't. Indy looks up from her math worksheet. Dad, can Rachel come to my school play next week? I glance at Rachel, who smiles. If your dad says it's okay. Of course it's okay, I say. And it is. It's more than okay. This is what surviving looks like. People always ask if I regret how I handled everything. If I was too harsh. If I should have tried to forgive and save the marriage. The answer is simple, no. Not even for a second. Indy is 10 now. She's smart, funny, kind. She does well in school, has good friends, plays soccer, loves to read. She knows what happened in age-appropriate terms, that mommy and daddy couldn't stay married because grown-ups sometimes make mistakes that can't be fixed. She understands she wasn't responsible. She knows both her parents love her. She's learned that families can look different and still be full of love. That's the life lesson I hope she carries into adulthood. Your worth isn't determined by other people's actions. When someone betrays you, it reveals their character, not yours. Last month, Indy had a school assignment to write about someone she admires. I expected her to write about a celebrity or a historical figure. Instead, she wrote about me. My dad is my hero because when something really bad happened, he didn't give up, she read aloud at the school assembly. He worked hard and took care of me and showed me that even when things are scary, you can still be brave. He taught me that protecting people you love is the most important job in the world. I cried right there in front of all the other parents. Didn't even try to hide it. That teachers' meeting 4 years ago destroyed my marriage. It shattered my trust in my brother. It upended my entire life. But it saved my daughter. It forced me to face a truth I might have ignored for years. It pushed me to prioritize what actually mattered. It taught me that sometimes love means making hard choices that hurt like hell in the moment but protect the people who can't protect themselves. Rachel and I got married last spring. Small ceremony, just close friends and family. Indy was my best person, standing next to me in a purple dress she picked out herself. Marlo sent a card. Didn't come to the wedding, but the card was classy, wished us well. We've reached a place of mutual indifference, which is probably the healthiest possible outcome. Mike never reached out again after that one letter. I heard through family gossip that he got married, had a kid, moved to Colorado. Good for him. I hope he's actually changed. I hope he's being a better person. But I'll never know for sure, and that's fine. Some people are meant to be in your life. Some people are meant to teach you lessons by hurting you. And some people are meant to become stories you tell about who you used to be before you knew better. The hardest part of the whole experience wasn't the betrayal itself. It was learning to trust again. Trust new people. Trust myself. Trust that the world isn't entirely full of people waiting to hurt you. Rachel helped with that. So did therapy. So did time. But mostly Indy helped. Watching her resilience, her ability to adapt and grow and find joy even after her world cracked apart, that showed me what strength really looks like. I still work at County Memorial. Different shift now, better hours. I'm in management now, helping train new nurses. I tell them the same thing every time: take care of yourselves. Don't sacrifice everything for work. Don't miss your kids' childhoods thinking you'll make it up later. Because later might never come. Or it might come in the form of your daughter's drawings revealing a truth you couldn't see. On Sunday afternoons, Indy goes to Marlo's. She comes back Sunday nights with stories about her weekend. Sometimes Derek is mentioned. Sometimes Marlo's new friends. It's her other life, separate from mine, and that's okay. She always comes home though. To this apartment that became our refuge. To the life we built from the ruins. Dad. Indy asks one night while I'm tucking her in. She's getting too old for tucking in, but she still lets me do it. Do you still get sad about what happened? It's a heavy question from a 10-year-old. Sometimes, I tell her honestly. Not about losing mommy anymore. That part I've made peace with. But sometimes I'm sad that you had to go through something so confusing when you were little. That's the part that still hurts. I'm okay though, she says seriously. Dr. Womack said I'm very resilient. You are. You're the most resilient person I know. Did Uncle Mike ever say sorry? It's the first time she's asked about him in over a year. He wrote a letter once, yeah. But some sorries don't fix things, pumpkin. Some things are broken in a way that can't be repaired, and that's sad, but it's also okay. We don't have to fix everything. We just have to figure out how to move forward. She thinks about this. I don't remember him very much anymore. That's okay too. Do you think he thinks about us? Maybe. Probably. But it doesn't matter what he thinks. What matters is what we build here in this life with people who actually show up for us. She nods, satisfied with this answer, and rolls over with her stuffed rabbit. 5 minutes later, she's asleep, and I'm standing in her doorway watching her breathe. This girl. This resilient, beautiful, brave girl who survived her parents' mess and came out stronger. She's the reason everything mattered. The reason I fought so hard. The reason I'll keep fighting. Tomorrow she has soccer practice. Rachel is making dinner. I have a shift at the hospital. Life is normal and boring and absolutely beautiful. The betrayal didn't break me. Could have. God knows it tried. but I had something worth surviving for. And that made all the difference. So to anyone watching this who's going through something similar, who feels like their world is ending, who can't see how they'll survive what someone they trusted has done to them, hear me, you will survive. Not because the pain goes away, but because you'll discover you're stronger than you ever knew. You'll learn that your worth was never tied to their faithfulness. You'll find that the people who truly deserve your trust will prove it through actions, not words. Protect the innocent. Choose yourself when no one else will. And never, ever let someone else's brokenness convince you that you're the one who's damaged. 4 years ago, I sat in a classroom looking at my daughter's drawings, and my entire world collapsed. Today, I'm standing in a life I rebuilt from nothing, surrounded by people who choose me every single day. That teacher's meeting destroyed my marriage. But it saved everything that actually mattered. And in the end, that's the only victory that counts. If you've made it this far in my story, thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. I know these kinds of stories aren't easy to hear. They bring up our own fears, our own hurts, our own whats. But maybe my story helps someone out there who's sitting in their own version of that classroom moment, wondering how they'll survive what's coming. Maybe it gives them permission to choose themselves, to protect their children, to walk away from people who proved they don't deserve a place in their lives. Or maybe it just reminds everyone that resilience isn't about never breaking. It's about what you build after the breaking is done. Indy just yelled from her room that she can't find her soccer cleats. Rachel is laughing about something in the kitchen. The dishwasher is running. The dog we adopted last month is barking at a squirrel outside. This is my life now. Ordinary. Messy. Full of people who show up. And I wouldn't trade it for anything. Not even for the life I thought I had before, the one that looked perfect on the outside but was rotting from the inside out. Sometimes the worst thing that ever happens to you is actually the best thing. It just takes a while to see it that way. Mrs. Henderson still teaches at Indy's old elementary school. I saw her at the grocery store a few months back and she asked how we were doing. We're good, I told her. Really good. She smiled and I could see the relief in her eyes. I'm so glad I called that meeting. I wasn't sure if I should, but something told me you needed to know. You saved us, I said simply. Thank you. She teared up a little and we hugged right there in the produce section like old friends. Because that's what we are. She's part of the story of how I survived. How Indy survived. Everyone who's been part of this journey, Dr. Womack, Vivian, the support group, Rachel, even some of the nurses at work who brought me coffee during the worst days, they're all threads in the fabric of this new life. You don't survive betrayal alone. You survive it because people show up. Because strangers become allies. Because sometimes the universe sends you exactly who you need exactly when you need them. Mike and Marlo? They're footnotes now. Characters in a story about who I used to be. The real story is what happened after. How a man and his daughter rebuilt a life from ashes. How we learned that family isn't always blood. Sometimes it's the people who choose to stay when everyone else walks away. That's the message I want to leave you with. When betrayal comes, and it might because the world is full of broken people doing broken things, remember that it's not the end of your story. It's just the end of a chapter. The next chapter? That's yours to write. Make it count. I hope you enjoyed this story and found something in it that resonated with you. If this touched you in any way, please share your thoughts in the comments below. Tell me your story. Tell me how you survived your own betrayals, your own heartbreaks. Your words might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. And if you're new here, welcome to the family. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications because we share stories like this every week. Stories about survival, resilience, love, loss, and everything in between. Real stories about real people navigating the messy, beautiful chaos of being human. Drop a comment and let me know where you're watching from and what you took away from Garrett and Indy's journey. I read every single comment and your insights help shape the stories we tell. Remember, you're stronger than you think, braver than you believe, and worthy of a love that doesn't require you to ignore red flags or accept betrayal. Until next time, take care of yourselves. Protect your peace. And never apologize for choosing your own well-being over someone else's comfort. See you in the next story.